Brahmajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Charane Trinadapi Sunichena Torad Iva Sahishnuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Namaiva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyata Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Rama Sri Madhusudana Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Rama Sri Madhusudana Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I have selected two different topics today. The first one is entitled Durvasa Understands Who Krishna Is. Anasuya, the wife of Atri Muni, gave birth to three very famous sons, namely Soma, the moon god, Dattatreya, and Durvasa Muni. All of them were partial representations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma. Dattatreya was a partial representation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvasa Muni was a partial representation of Lord Shiva. One day, Durvasa Muni, the tiger among sages, came to the circle of Braja to see Lord Krishna Chandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Near Mahavan, in a beautiful place on the Yamuna's sandy shore, Durvasa saw Lord Krishna. Seeing Lord Hari as a cowherder boy, more handsome than Yamuna-devi, Cupid himself, but who was now rolling on the ground as he played at fighting with the other cowherder boys and was running with them, clothed only by the directions, and all of his limbs dark with dust. The sage Durvasa became filled with wonder. Durvasa said to himself, "Why would the supremely opulent personality of Godhead, who controls everything, roll on the ground with some children? No. This must be a boy who is the son of someone named Nanda, for this boy is surely not Sri Krishna, who is greater than the greatest." As the great sage Durvasa was bewildered in this way, Krishna playfully approached Durvasa and out of his own accord sat on sage Durvasa's lap. Then Krishna left Durvasa's lap and with his glance, like that of a lion cub, again approached Durvasa, gently laughing and speaking some words. But as Krishna was laughing, Durvasa entered Lord Krishna's mouth as Lord Krishna breathed in. Durvasa there saw a great realm where there were no people. Wandering in many forests, Durvasa said, "Where am I?" It was as if the great sage Durvasa was swallowed by a serpent. There, Durvasa saw the entire universe with its many planets within outer space. Wandering the continents, Durvasa stood on a great white mountain top. Worshipping the Supreme Lord, Durvasa performed austerities for 1,000,000,000 years. But when the scheduled time of cosmic devastation arrived, the universe became a fearful place. Rushing oceans flooded the earth's surface, and Durvasa could not find an end to all the water. 1,000 yugas passed. Submerged in the water, Durvasa had forgotten everything. And as Durvasa wandered through the waters, he saw yet another universe. Durvasa then entered that universe and went to the heavenly planets within it. There, at the highest part of the universe, Durvasa passed a lifetime as long as that of Lord Brahma. Durvasa then saw an opening and entered into it. Meditating upon Lord Hari, Durvasa went outside the universe, and there Durvasa saw a great ocean. In that ocean, Durvasa saw many millions of universes. Gazing at the ocean, the sage thus saw the Viraja River. Crossing the Viraja River, sage Durvasa entered the realm of Goloka. Gazing at Vrindavana forest, Govardhan hill, and the shore of the Yamuna river, Durvasa then became happy. Durvasa entered a forest grove that was filled with gopas, gopis, and millions of Surabhi cows. There, in a circle of light, splendid as countless millions of suns, on a splendid divine lotus of 100,000 petals, Durvasa saw Sri Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, the master of Radha, the king of Goloka, and the king of countless universes. As Sri Krishna was laughing, Durvasa, who was actually still within Krishna's mouth, was then expelled out. Durvasa then gazed at the boy who was Nanda's son. Now understanding that Nanda's son, Krishna, who with some boys was wandering in a beautiful place on the Yamuna sandy shore near Mahavan, he understood that Krishna is actually the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, greater than the greatest. And Durvasa bowed down to Krishna again and again. With folded hands, he spoke to Krishna the following words: "With all my heart, I bow down before Nanda's gently smiling, sweetly graceful, handsome son, whose large eyes are 100 petal lotuses, whose lips are bimba fruits, and whose complexion is as splendid as a monsoon cloud. I offer my respectful obeisances to Krishna, who is decorated with jingling anklets and ornaments, a belt of 9 jewels, a beautiful necklace, and a string of lion's nails. Krishna is glorious with dots of black musk, and Krishna's glance removes all sufferings, and Krishna plays as a child on the shore of the Yamuna. Obeisances, obeisances to you, Krishna, for you are Balaram's companion and Nanda's son. Your bowed head is a lotus flower, and above that, there's a full moon face with curly locks of hair, glistening like newly dark monsoon clouds. Nanda's son happily comes within the vision of a person who rises early and recites these prayers glorifying him." Sri Narada then said, "Durvasa, the best of sages, bowed down before Lord Krishna, and meditating upon him and chanting his glories, went north to Badarik Ashram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare." So now we're going to do the next part, but before that, we'll do a little singing. And with this quick bhajan, I want to give special blessings to all of you, my Namahat RadhaRaman family. I love you all. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivarat Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivarat Hari. Yashoda Nandana Gopi Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Gopi Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira vanachari, Yamuna tira vanachari. So, I sang that last line several times because this second part of today's class is all about the Yamuna River. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So there's different parts. First, description of the Yamuna's arrival. Sri Sanandan Kumar said, ordered by Lord Krishna in Goloka, Yamuna, the best of rivers, circumambulated Krishna and was about to go down to the earth. Then the Viraja river and the spiritual Ganga both entered the Yamuna. O King Nanda, for this reason, the people know that the Yamuna is the greatest of rivers and also one of the queens of Lord Krishna in Dwaraka. And so, with great force, breaking through the current of the Viraja, Yamuna left the gate of the transcendental forest grove. Touching countless universes, Yamuna came to the spiritual Ganga, and with great force, the great Yamuna river broke through the Ganga's waters. The Yamuna then came to an opening of Lord Vamana's left toe, which he had made in the top of the universe, an opening through which the spiritual Ganga flowed. With Sri Ganga entering that opening, the Yamuna, best of rivers, then came to the unconquerable Lord's abode of Vaikuntha on the planet of Maharaj Dhruva. Yamuna then came to Brahmaloka. Falling from Lord Brahma's planet, she went to hundreds of other planets of the demigods. Yamuna went from one planet to another. And then, with great force, Yamuna fell on Mount Sumero. Flowing from its peaks, she broke the stones on its slope. In order to go south from Mount Sumeru, Sri Yamuna left Sri Ganga's path. Then the Ganga went to Mount Himavat, and the great river Yamuna went to Mount Kalinda. So because Yamuna is thus Mount Kalinda's daughter, she is named Kalindi. Flowing from Mount Kalinda's peaks and breaking the hard rocks on his slopes, the sacred Kalindi swiftly flowed onto the earth, purifying all the countries she passed. Then Kalindi entered the Kandava forest. Wishing to attain as her husband the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Kalindi assumed a splendid spiritual form and performed great austerities. Why, even today, Kalindi stays in a water house which her father made for her. Then Kalindi swiftly entered Vrajamandala. Kalindi flowed through Vrindavan, beautiful Mathura, and the beautifully secluded Mahavana. As the very beautiful leader of many gopis, Sri Yamuna made her home in Sri Galoka in order to perform the rasa dance with Sri Krishna Chandra. As Yamuna left Vraja, she became overwhelmed by feelings of separation. Filled with tears of bliss and love, Yamuna turned west and returned to Vraja. Then, bowing 3 times to Vrajamandala, Yamuna went to the very holy Prayag, purifying the country she passed. And when Yamuna entered the sheer ocean of milk, flowing with Sri Ganda, the demigods in heaven showered flowers and exclaimed, "Jai! Victory!" When the dark Sri Yamuna, who is the best of rivers and the daughter of Mount Kalinda, entered the ocean, she spoke to Sri Ganga with words choked with emotion. "O Ganga, you are fortunate, for you purify all the universes, and you were born from Lord Krishna's lotus foot. So everyone bows down before you alone. So now I will ascend to Lord Hari's abode. O beautiful Ganga, you should come also. There never was, nor will there ever be, anyone as glorious as you." After hearing this, Sri Ganga replied to Yamuna, "I, Ganga-devi, who contain all holy places, bow down before you, Yamuna-devi. O auspicious one, please forgive any improper words that I may say. O dark Yamuna, you are the fortunate one, for you purify all the universes. You were born from Lord Krishna's left shoulder, and your form is full of transcendental bliss. You are most perfect and complete, and you are worshipped by all. You are dear to Sri Krishna, the great Supreme Personality of Godhead. O dark Yamuna, I bow down to you, the Queen of Lord Krishna. All the holy places and demigods find it difficult to attain you, Yamuna-devi. Why, even in Goloka, it is difficult to attain you. But by Lord Krishna's order, I, Ganga-devi, must go to Patala Loka. So now I am unhappy to leave you, but I cannot go with you. And so I will become a leader of many gopis in the Rasa dance circle in Sri Braja. O beloved of Lord Hari, please forgive any improper words I may have said." Sri Sanandan Kumar then said to Nanda Maharaj, bowing down before each other, the two rivers then quickly went their respective ways. The heavenly Ganga went to Patala Loka, purifying the planets as she passed. There, Ganga is named Bhogavati, for she flows through the Bhogavati forest in the Patala Loka. Lord Shesha and Lord Shiva carry her waters on their heads. Quickly traversing the seven oceans, the dark Yamuna quickly flowed through the world of seven islands. Then Yamuna flowed to the Golden Land, and then Mount Loka Loka, where flowing from its peaks, Yamuna broke the rocks on its slopes. Yamuna then rose again to its peaks, and with a great stream of water, rose up to Swargaloka in the heavenly worlds. Yamuna passed through the planets on the way to Brahmaloka, and meeting Ganga at the opening in the universe, went back to Lord Hari's abode. And as the demigods showered flowers and bowed down to offer respects, Sri Yamuna, the best of rivers, returned to Sri Krishna's abode of Goloka. So now, my dear Namahat family, comes a benediction. You are very fortunate to attend today. So now you get your benediction. Here it says, if a person in this world hears or reads this auspicious and ever new pastime of Mount Kalinda's daughter Yamuna, he or she will attain great auspiciousness. So there you go. You are now blessed. If one regularly reads or remembers this pastime, one will attain the transcendental forest groves where the Supreme Lord enjoys his pastimes. So this class will be on my Facebook page, so you can listen to it over and over again and get blessings. Before we go to the next part, we'll do a quick bhajan. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya, RadhaRaman Hari Govinda 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 Jaya Jaya, Govinda Hari Gopala Hari, Gopala Hari Govinda Hari, Jaya Rama Hari, Jaya Krishna Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya, RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. This next part is called Prayers to Sri Yamuna. Sri Mandhata once said, O Subhari Rishi, O tiger among sages, please kindly tell me the transcendental Yamuna Stava, which brings all perfection. Sri Saubhari said, O noble-hearted one, please hear this Yamuna Stava, which grants all perfection and brings the 4 goals of life. Obeisances to Sri Yamuna, who was born from Sri Krishna's left shoulder. Obeisances to Sri Yamuna, who has a spiritual form, just like that of Lord Krishna. O Sri Yamuna, obeisances unto you, obeisances unto you. To a person who was lusty, foolish, polluted with many sins, and fond of quarreling with devotees, Sri Yamuna, who is filled with many buzzing bees, gives residence in the transcendental abode of Goloka. O Yamuna, you have a spiritual form like that of Sri Krishna, and in your whirlpools, Lord Matsya appears. In your waves, Lord Kurma appears. In each drop of your water, Lord Krishna is splendidly manifest. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are playful, who are dark as a monsoon cloud, who were born from Lord Krishna's left shoulder, who move slightly, swiftly. You are also named Viraja, for you carry all waters, and you break the coverings of the universe. You break great mountains and fortresses. you flow throughout the earth. You have beautiful shores, and you are garlanded, decorating the earth. O Yamuna-devi, when it is heard on this earth, your holy name destroys a great mountain of sin. I'm going to repeat that for emphasis. O Yamuna-devi, when your holy name is heard on this earth, you destroy a great mountain of sin. When your name is spoken, it again destroys a great host of sins. So may your holy name, Yamuna, stay in the circle of my words. In the city of your brother, Yamaraj, who is the son of the sun god, you are also known by the name Prachanda. Sri Yamuna, you are a rope which pulls one out of the blind well of sense gratification. O Yamuna-devi, you are a snake who eats the rat of sin. Sri Yamuna, you are a beautiful crown of flowers on the Ushnik poems that are the hair on the head of the Lord's Virata Rupa, universal form. O Yamuna-devi, you give wealth and good fortune to the people of this world. Even in Goloka, you are dear, rare, glorious, and without rival. O Yamuna, O place where the gopis, gopas, and cows enjoy pastimes. O glory of Lord Krishna, by your shores is a great tumult of swiftly moving waters. By your shores is a great forest filled with the buzzing of bees and the calls of all the peacocks. And by your shores is a host of cooing cuckoos. O Sri Yamuna, you are decorated with the flowering vines of Braja. Please protect me. Even if someone has as many tongues as there are hairs on the body, or grains of sand on the beach, or even if someone is as powerful as Lord Sheshanaga, the most exalted devotees still cannot properly describe all of your virtues. A person at sunrise who hears or recites these prayers glorifying Sri Yamuna attains transcendental auspiciousness. A person who regularly hears and remembers these prayers attains the supreme transcendental abode, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead enjoys pastimes in the forest on the shore of the Yamuna. We have one more episode, but first, the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shukadeva Goswami said, once the supremely opulent personality of Godhead, Krishna, went to Indraprastha to visit the Pandavas, who had again appeared in public. Accompanying Krishna were Yuyudhan and Krishna's other associates. Almost everyone except Krishna and Balaram thought that the Pandavas had perished in the fire set by Duryodhan in the house of Lak. But now the Pandavas had appeared once again in public, and Krishna was thus paying them a visit. And when the Pandavas saw that Lord Mukunda had arrived, those heroic sons of Pritha all stood up at once, like the senses responding to the return of the life air. For when a person is unconscious, the senses do not function. But when consciousness returns to the body, all the senses spring to life at once and begin functioning. Similarly, the Pandavas all stood up at once, enlivened to receive their Lord, Sri Krishna. Those Pandava heroes embraced Lord Achyuta, and the touch of Krishna's body freed them of the suffering caused by separation from Krishna. Looking at Krishna's affectionate smiling face, the Pandavas were overwhelmed with joy. After Krishna bowed down at the feet of Yudhishthira and Bhima, Krishna firmly embraced Arjuna, and Krishna accepted obeisances from the twin brothers Nakula and Sahadeva. Externally, Krishna was the Pandavas' cousin, and their relationship was just like that between cousin brothers. So because Yudhishthira and Bhima were externally senior to Krishna, Krishna thus bowed down at their feet, whereas Krishna embraced his peer Arjuna and accepted obeisances from the younger brothers Nakula and Sahadeva. Faultless Draupadi, the Pandavas' newly married wife, slowly and somewhat timidly approached Lord Krishna, who was now sitting on an exalted seat, and Draupadi offered Krishna obeisances. Srimati Draupadi was so devoted to Krishna that Draupadi herself was called Krishna, which is the feminine form of the name. And Arjuna was also called Krishna because of Arjuna's strong devotion to Krishna. Satyaki also accepted a seat of honor after receiving worship and welcome from the Pandavas, and the other companions of Krishna, being duly honored, sat down in various places. As Lord Krishna was sitting on his seat, Krishna saw his aunt approaching in great eagerness to see him. Krishna then rose at once and quickly went up to Kunti-devi, offering obeisances. Kunti's eyes moistened with extreme love. Kunti then embraced Krishna and smelled Krishna's head. Lord Krishna inquired from Kunti-devi and her daughter-in-law Draupadi about their welfare, and they in turn questioned Krishna at length about his relatives in Dwaraka. Being so overcome by love that her throat choked up and her eyes filled with tears, Queen Kunti remembered the many troubles she and her sons had endured. Thus, Kunti addressed Lord Krishna, who appears before his devotees just to drive away their distress. My dear Krishna, our welfare was assured only when you remembered us, your relatives, and you gave us your protection by sending Akrura to visit us. O Krishna, you are the well-wishing friend and supreme soul of the entire universe. And so for you, there is never any illusion of us or them. Yet, even so, residing within the hearts of all, you eradicate the sufferings of those who remember you constantly. King Yudhishthira then said, O Supreme Controller, I do not know what pious deeds we fools have done so that we can see you, whom the masters of yoga perfection rarely see. Requested by Yudhishthira to stay with them, the Almighty Lord Krishna remained happily in Indraprastha during the months of the rainy season, giving joy to the eyes of the city's residents. One day, Arjuna, the slayer of powerful enemies, donned his armor, mounted his chariot, flying the flag of Hanuman, took up his bow and his two inexhaustible quivers, and went to sport with Lord Krishna in a large forest filled with fierce animals. This is because Arjuna had recently acquired the Gandiva bow and other weapons after the burning of the Kandava forest. In those days, the Kshatriyas or warriors would hunt in the forest for several purposes. In order to practice their fighting skills, to control the population of ferocious beasts who were a threat to human beings, and also to provide animals for Vedic sacrifices. The slain animals would be given new bodies by the power of the Vedic sacrifices. And with his arrows, Arjuna shot tigers, boars, and buffalo in that forest, along with rurus, shabaras, gavayas, rhinoceros, black deer, rabbits, and porcupines. A crew of servants carried back to King Yudhishthira all the slain animals, which were fit to be offered and sacrificed on some special occasion. Then, feeling thirsty and tired, Arjuna went to the bank of the Yamuna. And after the two Krishnas, Krishna himself and Arjuna, bathed there, they drank the river's clear water. Those two great warriors then saw an attractive young girl walking nearby. Krishna wanted Arjuna to see the deep devotion of this girl, and thus Krishna urged Arjuna to make the initial inquiries. Sent by his friend Krishna, Arjuna approached the exceptionally young woman who possessed beautiful hips, fine teeth, and a most lovely face. Arjuna inquired from her as follows: Who are you, O fine-waisted lady? Whose daughter are you? And where do you come from? What are you doing here? I think you must be looking for a suitable husband. Please explain everything, O beautiful one. The girl correctly understood that Lord Vishnu, the source of all benedictions, is the supreme husband and can thus fulfill all the desires of the wife. And so the girl replied to Arjuna, Oh, I am the daughter of the sun god, and I desire to get as my husband the most excellent and munificent Lord Vishnu. And to that end, I am performing severe penances. And I will accept no husband other than Lord Vishnu, who is the abode of the goddess of fortune. May Lord Mukunda, the Supreme Personality, the shelter of the helpless, be pleased with me. I am known as Kalindi, and I live in a mansion which my father built for me within the water of this Yamuna river. And there I will stay until I meet Lord Achyuta Krishna. Arjuna then repeated all of this to Lord Vasudeva, who was already aware of everything, being the Supersoul and all-knowing. Krishna then took Kalindi onto his chariot and went back to see King Yudhishthira. Later, Kalindi became one of the first 8 chief queens of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Krishna Kumar